Hi again, biz hackers. So in this demo, I'm going to show you guys how to construct your email. So at this point, you should have already created a new list and imported that contact list that you got from Google Classroom. So if you haven't already done that, then go back to the video in which I demo how to import the list. That step is definitely a prerequisite to building and constructing the email and the campaign. So go back and watch that video if you haven't yet done that step. If you already have, then let's just jump right into it. So from your Mailchimp homepage, what you're going to click on is Create Campaign on the top right-hand corner here. And you're going to get this pop-up window for Mailchimp. So what you want to do is click on Create an Email on the bottom left-hand corner. So go ahead and click on that. And from the beginning, so right from the get-go, Mailchimp is asking you what you want to name your campaign. This campaign, the name of this campaign is only going to be visible to you. So go ahead and name it whatever you want to name it, and whatever is going to be easy for you to recognize what this campaign was related to. So I'm going to just type milestone assignment number 1 and then click begin right under that. So as you can see, so Mailchimp sort of lays out the email campaign into 4 easy steps. So let's begin with the 2. Who are you sending this campaign to? We're going to click on Add Recipients in the far right. And again, you should have already uploaded or imported your contact list into Mailchimp before building the campaign. And this is the reason why. Because what you're going to do is select what list you're going to address this email blast to. So I'm going to select BizHack class. And Mailchimp gives you the option of segmenting that list and who you want to send that list to. But for the purposes of the milestone assignment, we're going to leave all subscribers on list selected. And you have this checkbox to personalize the to field. So you definitely want to select that and then choose this first option. So that way the email is addressed to the recipient by their first name. And then click on save. And as you can see, you now have this check mark has been colored in for you. So on to the next step. You're going to choose who the email is being sent from. So again, you want this to be your actual name and not your business name. And the email address, again, is going to be the email address that people are going to get to reply to. So keep that in mind when you're deciding what email address to use. You don't want to be receiving a bunch of replies to your primary work email. So if you have an info at whatever, or a customer support, or an inbox that's dedicated to customer support, that's the email address you're going to want to place here. So I'm going to click save. Move along to the 3rd step, creating the subject. So I highly recommend that you guys revisit the slides from Monday night so you guys can get some tips on how to write effective subject lines and the preview text. So if you recall, the preview text is what is sort of like that light gray text that appears right under the subject line. So what you want the preview text to read, or what you want it to say, is something that kind of reinforces what the subject line was, or what the subject heading was. If you leave this blank, then by default, what Mailchimp's going to do is start placing the first few lines of text from the body of your message. So you don't really want it to do that. So maybe I want to write something like, I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head here. So this is a top 5 biz hacks for your business. So let's, and Mailchimp actually has this really cool emoji table sort of built into it. So again, don't be afraid to experiment with emojis. I think as long as it's kind of relevant to your subject, then go for it. So I kind of like this. I'm going to go with the flames here. All right, then the preview text. So again, this is the text that's going to go right under your subject heading. So what you want to place here, and again, it's going to be in that sort of light gray text. So something that's going to reinforce what the subject reads. Something along those lines. Again, I encourage you to kind of revisit the tips that we provided in the slides. You have options to use emojis here as well. And then we're going to save. Now we're going to get into the actual design of the email. So I think Mailchimp does a pretty cool job of giving you layouts that they kind of have built out for you already. So make it a point to explore some of these and see if it's a good fit for your business and how you want your email to display. So they've got all sorts of options right down here. They've got different themes that you can explore as well. Which make it sort of really easy for you to kind of just modify these existing formats to your branding colors, and makes it really easy for you to just kind of replace some of these images with your own. So explore these themes as well and see which one is a good fit for your business. So if I choose this one, for example, so there, it uploaded it with the content that belongs to that theme, but you can you can edit it and add your own content to it. Now, the thing you got to keep in mind when working with Mailchimp is that it works in blocks. So notice what happened when I clicked right here. So these are the contents of this block, and the contents of every block are always going to appear to the right over here on the right hand side of the screen. So if I wanted to edit this block, for example, I'm going to click on this little pencil, and then I can replace this image or edit this image. So if you wanted to replace it with your own, you would click on replace. And as you're sort of exploring these themes, I think the main takeaway of designing an email is that it's done in blocks. So if you decide to work with a theme, just kind of hover your cursor over all the different sections of the email. And when you see this happen, that means it's a block. So if I want to modify this text, I'm going to click again on the little pencil here. And then I'll be able to edit the text that's going to appear there. So notice as I kind of start to delete, starts to delete on the actual email. If I want to change this heading over here, again, here's another block. So I think you guys kind of get the idea. These are all blocks. So click on the pencil to edit that particular block. And again here with the text. So this is if you decide to work with one of the themes that Mailchimp provides you with. Now, if I want to go back, if I want to go backwards, come back to this menu. I just clicked on template down here. If I want to work with one of their layouts, so that way I'm just kind of building the email from scratch with my own content from the very beginning, I'll just choose one of these layouts that they have here. So let's explore this one that they titled Sell Products. Okay, let's see what this is about. We'll automatically transfer your copy and content block settings to the new template. Choose. Okay, let's just click on Change Template. Yeah, so basically what they're telling us there is because we initially selected to work with a theme, you know, they're kind of transferring it to the format of this of this format that we chose. Again, so because we're working with a theme that already kind of had some some preset formatting, it's kind of displaying it here in how that was created. But if doesn't well, we still have all of these options to add more content to our to our email. So if I wanted to add some additional text, for example, it's just a matter of clicking and dropping that wherever it is that you want to add your text. So notice it reads drop block here. So if I click and drag with my mouse and then drop it, I now have this new text box that I just added. And again, I'm going to click on the pencil. And then whatever I type in this text box, here's what will appear on that block. Once you're done, you're going to save and close. If I want to add a new image to my email, again, I'm just going to drag and drop. So I can, if I want to add a new photo here, I'll just drop that block here. And then if you have an image that you have saved locally on your computer, you're going to just click on Browse. So you see these here because I already had existing photos that I've saved to Mailchimp. But if you don't have any and you want to upload a brand new one, you're going to click on Upload on the top right-hand corner here. And then you're going to find a photo that you have saved locally on your computer. So I'm just going to kind of use that one for the example. Once you've selected the photo, you're going to click on Insert. And now that photo's been added to your email. So, and always, as you're adding new blocks, very important, always make sure that you save and close. So explore all of the options that you have here with the content blocks. I think you guys sort of get the hang of it by now. You drag and drop. Once that block's been added, you click on the pencil to edit it. Whatever you edit here, once you're done editing it, always remember to save and close. And if there's anything you want to get rid of, so if, for example, I want to get rid of this photo here, as I move my cursor over it, it's going to display to me what the contents of that block is. I'm just going to click on the delete option right here, and it's just going to delete the block altogether. It's going to ask me if I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. And now that block is gone. So it's a pretty user friendly. It's a pretty user friendly system. So I'm sure you guys will get the hang of it fairly quick. Let's say I am done designing my email. I'm going to just click on Save and Close in the bottom right-hand corner. One of the things that I'm really going to encourage you guys to do before you pull the trigger is send a test email, because we want to see how that's, remember, you want to design your email to be viewed optimally through a mobile device. So send a test email to yourself and see how that displays on your phone, on your mobile device. If there's anything that you want to change because you weren't exactly happy, let me see what this error states. We detect default content in your email. We should remove any default text. Okay, so I'm getting that because of just the gibberish that I was typing during the example. So if I click resolve, so it would have otherwise said edit there. So by clicking on that, you can always come back and edit that. But actually, one last thing I want to show you guys is you always have these options up here as well. So if you want to preview what your email is going to look like before you pull the trigger, you can enter into preview mode to kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like on desktop and on mobile. However, I would not rely on this. I would send out a test email like I just showed you a moment ago to see what it's going to look like on your own mobile device. You also have the option to send a test email from here. So again, highly recommend you do that so that you're able to see true representation of what it's going to look like on your mobile device. So for this demo, this is where I am going to have to stop. What you should see when your email is ready to be sent out is you should, you're not going to see a resolve option here. You're going to see, and you're going to have a green check here as well, like these other two. You're going to see a button for send email. And once you click on that, you'll then get a confirmation message from Mailchimp that your email's been sent out. Actually, let me show you guys that. So let me come in here. No, I take that back. I'm not going to be able to show you guys that because if not, you're going to get an actual email from me. But I think at that point, it's pretty straightforward. You guys, you can't miss that option. This is essentially the last step before you send out the email. Some additional options that you might actually encounter are the ability to sort of schedule it ahead of time. So if you don't want to send it at that very moment, you'll see an option where you can schedule it to be sent out at a later time. So I think I think this is we'll end the demo here. You're gonna have to wrestle with it a little bit, and you're gonna have to, and again, I encourage you guys to test it out, test it over and over again. Start testing, play with the blocks, play with the size of the images, and then send it to yourself and see how that email displays on your mobile device before you send it out to the rest of the class. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to your coaches or feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to, help you guys out as best I can. I really want you guys to crush it on this first milestone assignment. So I've got one last video for you guys in which we're going to cover A/B testing. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again, guys.